Hello, Governor. Scott Grove here. It's been a long time coming, and I finally decided to do it. This is my mandolin video. Okay, if you've never touched a mandolin before, but you are already a guitar player. If you do not play guitar or have any idea how to play guitar, do not purchase this video. Everything in here is related to guitar. Okay, I will be putting out, or have put out, depending on what day this is and when you're hearing this, a video for pure beginners. But this particular video is for people who already play guitar, want to learn how to play mandolin as a second or a third or 24th instrument. Okay, this is teaching you from square one, but I do use all guitar terms. So I will be saying, okay, here's your root, here's your third, here's your fifth, we got a hammer on, we got a pull off here, we go up to, you know, things like that. We do our harmonics, we do. If you don't understand everything I just said and it's Japanese to you, don't buy this video. Simple as that. Okay? If you play guitar, you have the ability to play all of the chords on guitar, and you know how to play a regular scale. You know, the old do, re, mi. And you can play chords on a guitar. You will be fine. If you are much better guitar player than that, you will be excellent and you will breeze through this sucker. If you're an average or slow guitar player, but you know as much as I just said, then pick up the video and we'll learn together. I learned this especially to teach you all. Okay, so as I lick my fingers so my pick will stick, the things I go through are every single chord in here, so you'll learn your typical. Even that, yeah, and the every chord there is, how to make it a minor, how to make it a seventh, how to do licks with each thing. So okay, so you get all that. Okay, so you get those things, you get the. Okay, so everything there is to do with mandolin, you will learn it, okay? And I even teach you how to do quick setups, how everything's supposed to be, get it tuned up, blah, blah, blah. So all the way down the line, but you must be a guitar player to learn how to play. And you'll be able to play at the end of this video, which is just a little over, almost 2.5 hours long. 2 hours, 20 minutes, right around there. Okay, I think it's 2 hours, 20 minutes long. And you'll be able to play this puppy within a week's time, well enough to take it on stage and play your little heart out and do solos, blah, blah, blah. Again, only if you are already a guitar player. Okay, so once again, Scott Grove, buy the video if you are a guitar player already. Okay, again, the beginner ones, for you people who've never touched these, this is not your video. I don't know how many times I have to say this to so many people, but somebody will still order it. Man, I did say no, beginner. It's like, never mind. Okay, so I will expect to keep refunding some money to some of you people. So again, Scott Grove, learn how to play the mandolin as well as I do, which is as good as I've got since somebody requested me to teach it. So I've got good enough to teach you, so I'm putting it out. And it's good stuff. You'll enjoy it. Everything I put out is the best in the world. Just ask me. Anyway, I'm a nut. If you want some teacher that actually shows you something and teaches you something, grab me. If you want somebody that sucks, takes all your money, and you don't learn crap, go with somebody else. That's the way it is. And once again, for people who just flat out don't get it, here's what you get, children. You get a video. It comes in a little thing like this. And I don't know why I have to do this, but people are freaking out thinking, oh, he makes copies. It goes on a disc like this. And I burn them all straight here from the house. I do each and every single one by hand. And I do it here, right where I'm sitting. And it comes to you in one of these lovely bubble mailers. And that is it. It does not come in a full color, Christmassy looking. It does not have a purple Barney dinosaur on the front of it. Okay, so you get your money's worth in the lessons, not in how pretty the packaging is. Can't believe how many people after all these years, oh man, he's copying some. I don't know why I keep going to a Spanish accent when I say these. Yeah, I do. He's copying somebody's videos and distributing. No, read the flippin' ad, okay? And I'm like this all the way through, so if you've never learned from me before, I'm just a freak of nature, but I'm the best teacher out there. So come get it, and I'm serving it up while it's hot, okay? Anytime later it's going to get cold and you ain't going to learn squat, so hurry up and buy this now! Okay, hi folks, we've made it to the mandolin lessons finally. Okay, this is the first of my series of the mandolin lessons. Who knows what year you're watching this in, so I might have 20 of these out, I might only have one of these out. So it depends on how quickly you bought this. Again, this is for guitar players. If you have bought this lesson and you do not know how to play a guitar, then you are SOL. That's right. You are sure out of luck. Because I will be using tons of guitar references, guitar knowledge, guitar licks transposed to work on a mandolin. Okay? So if you need to go get a beginner mandolin lesson, go get one. If I have one out by now, go get it. If I don't, wait for me. I'll be there shortly. Okay? Okay. What is a mandolin? It's a little bitty guitar that's tuned all backward and upside down and don't have a G or a B string or a high E string. And it's turned upside down like a Hendrix would and not restrung. Okay, so that's exactly what it is. Okay. What we have here are two different kinds of mandolins, are the F type and the A type. That'd be F and A. For all my friends in Canada. The F type stands for Florentine, is this, with all the little curves and curly cues. Actually, if you go to put on your strap, you put one here and then this little other part, you just slip your strap in here and it kind of hooks up under here. Otherwise, there's no place else to hang it. You can tie it on up here, but then you look like a tard because they're meant to go up underneath here. Your A style ones will look like basically like this, okay, without all the fancy junk, no little curly cue at the bottom. They'll look like that. Okay, so that's just the difference. And this is just a little cheapo Epiphone. Got it free in a deal, so I took it. To tune these things, how are they tuned? They're tuned backwards. If you were to snip the high E string and your B string off of your guitar and then flip it upside down, that's how they're tuned. Or if you just took a 4-string bass guitar, turned it upside down, that's how they're tuned. Okay, so let's show you that. Okay, I just happen to have a guitar here. Imagine that. So if you are looking at getting rid of your E string and getting rid of your B string, okay, your next one of course is your G, which is right in the middle of the guitar, but that's actually going to be our lowest note on our mandolin. Okay, so that will be, you notice everything is doubled up. You have 2 sets of strings. These are not like 12-string guitars, so get that out of your skull. If you have octave strings on like a 12-string guitar, you've done something wrong because these are all identical. They're tuned both the same, both the same, both the same, both the same. So there's no octaves apart. Okay, so you have your G's, both G's. up here where your low E string normally is, like I said, it's upside down. So if it was upside down, that would be your G string, like on your bass. So pretend your 2 strings are gone on your guitar, and G string is at the top of your mandolin. Okay, and then your next string would have been a D as we're going down. That's the next string down on your mandolin, but yet it's a couple octaves higher, and it will keep doing that. It'll keep getting a couple octaves higher as we go lower. Your next one on your guitar is an A. So as you keep going higher on your mandolin, that is your A, and then finally you get to your low E on your guitar, and that ends up being your E on your mandolin. So, how screwy is that? It is screwy. Okay, so it's tuned upside down and backwards from a bass guitar. Okay, so we have to play with that mentality that everything is upside down and backwards. As soon as you have that under your belt, you will be okay. Okay, I promise. How are these things tuned? Well, hopefully with your little tuner. Get one with a microphone on it. It does not matter if it's a chromatic tuner, meaning that it will read every note there is. It will read 4 notes as long as it reads a G, a D, an A, and an E, then we're going to be okay. Now what we are lucky here having is the fact that, remember, on guitars we had 2 E strings. We had a set or an E string way up here, like where this is, but it's no longer there. But we have this one here still. So we have one thing in common with a guitar, that yeah, if we have an E string and we go up to the 3rd fret, yep, it's still going to be a G. Go up to the 5th fret, it's going to be an A. So we have something to work with, something that ties this all together. Okay, now let's do a couple more things that we have to go over on a mandolin. When you go to tune a guitar, you would normally, like if you didn't have a tuner around, you just went 5th fret, then open string. It does not work on a mandolin that way. I mean, it sounds pretty, but on a mandolin, same thing, but on 7th fret. Okay, so 7th fret, then open, 7th fret, 7th fret. So instead of 5th, it's 7th fret. And no weird B strings like on a guitar to get in your way. So none of that junk to get in your way. So it's straight all the way down the whole board. 7th fret, open. 7th fret, open. 7th fret, open. Then you're done, because there's not as many strings. Actually, there's 8 strings, but yet it's a third simpler because they're doubled up. Makes sense? Hey, that's math for you. I went to school in Indiana, but hey, did I pass math? No, I think I figured it out after it was over with. Guitar actually taught me math. Go figure. You learn theory, you learn math. Okay? So, they should have taught guitar back in my school, but they didn't. That didn't keep me from playing guitar during all my study halls, though. Okay, the other thing being the bridge has to be placed in the right place. Okay, you don't have any way to intonate this thing other than to move your bridge around. Where does it go? Okay, now there's a method to the madness of instruments of any quality. This is of any quality, not of high quality, but it's of any quality. So these F-holes are not just for designs like they are on a thin line Telecaster, but they are actually here for a purpose. Same on a violin, same on a dobro, blah, blah, blah. Anything that has to have a bridge that goes somewhere so you can still get your harmonics at your 12th fret. If it's all going to play out of tune if your bridge is not in the right place, just like on any other instrument. Okay, so you will not even get harmonics on your 12th, 7th, 5th frets, and way up around the 19th, blah, 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 if your bridge is not in the right place. And of course, everything will be out of tune. How do you put it in the right place? Okay, you have the front part of your bridge, the part facing your neck, will actually line up with the innermost part of the F-hole, where it comes to a point on both sides. That is a guideline. So if you're actually to draw an invisible line, or put a ruler there and do a chalk line or whatever across from that cutaway right here in the F-hole, straight across, it'll run right across that bridge, It'll come out the other side right to that corner of it. So you'll know where you have this in the right place. They're supposed to be designed to work that way. If yours doesn't, keep moving it back and forth until your harmonics ring out on your 12th fret. Okay, so you guitar players knows what I'm talking about. If you're here and you don't have guitar knowledge, you're falling behind and you bought the wrong lesson. Go get the other one. Then play this one later. Okay, so that is all of that. So now it's just time to gig. One other thing, I'm sorry. A 10th fret marker, look at that. Okay, we're used to some guitars having like a Les Paul custom will have a fret marker at the 1st fret, but we'll always have one at the 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th, nope, not the 9th. Why? Because it's a bluegrass instrument, because they're weird people. Okay, they put them on the 10th, on banjo, on everything else, it don't matter. I don't know why, but they do not put a dot here on the 9th. They put it on the 10th. And then again, it's on the 12th. And then it skips to the 15th, 17th, 19th, like it's supposed to. But don't let that throw you off. It will throw you off when you're playing. I guarantee it. But that's the way they make them, and they're not going to change them for us. Okay, so just be aware. The 9th fret marker is not there. They stuck it on the 10th. So don't let that screw you up. Okay, so let's actually get to playing something. I'm going to do the easy version of the chords first, and again remind you that everything is upside down. I reminded you that yes, we have our E string. We're going to do the typical G chord right now and the easy version of it. Okay, so what do we know about this tuning? Not much yet, right? Okay, but we know it inside out. We just don't know it upside down. Okay, which is all it is. It's upside down, but it's more of a concern than you think. You just have to let your brain think upside down. It will before too long. Okay, so we know we have an open G string because it's upside down. It's of our 4 strings that we have left, since we're playing bass now, upside down instead of guitar upside down. We have G string open there, so chances are on a G chord, open G string would be a nice thing. Okay, what's the next note? Down. Hey, it's a D. Is that in a G chord? I don't know. Look at your guitar. Play a G chord. Is there a D in there? You know, there better be. That will be your 5th. Okay. Okay, I'm going to talk roots, 5ths, and 3rds. So that is theory. If you don't know any theory, you better learn some. I'll teach you a little bit here, but if you don't know a little bit of guitar theory, enough to know your 3rd, your 5th, and your root, you won't be in too much of trouble, but I will be speaking of them frequently, kids. I have theory lessons out there. Go get them. You can learn this for free on YouTube if you don't want to pay for mine. I know I'm just losing money by telling you that, but who don't know this already? Okay, so you have your G note, you have your D note, because they're just open strings. Okay, so we have the root and the 5th. We need a 3rd, which if you think about it, that's why the guitar is here, to show you how everything is upside down and backwards. Okay, we normally on the 2 strings think of this, don't we? 3rd fret on the E string, 2nd fret on the A string. So we're going to do the same thing. 3rd fret on the E string, 2nd fret on the A string. Those will be the only 2 that we will play. Why? Because we cut our B string off and we cut our E string off when we decided to play a mandolin. So let's go ahead and do that 3rd fret on our E string and that 2nd fret on our A string. There they are. Everything else was open, we determined. Same as on the acoustic guitar or on any guitar. There it is. Okay, there's your G chord. That's the simplest version of it. There are many other versions, just like on guitar, where you can play 1,000 different versions. I'll throw you a few of them, and then of course there'll be a part 2, but I doubt you'll need a part 2 of this. Once you get the basics behind you, the rest of it's very easy. Okay, so there is your typical G chord. What do you do about rhythms on this thing? It's generally a skipping thing, not tra-la-la-la-la. You play in between the notes. Basically, you play what the snare drum would play, especially like on a shuffle beat, or like if you know what stroke rolls are. A stroke roll, no, it's not that. It is the train pattern. Okay. One and two and one and two and one and two and one and two. Okay, those are your basic picking patterns for the majority of a 4/4 time song. But the thing is, you can't play all those, otherwise it'll be. That's not good, as you know, or as you hear. The thing is when to put the brakes on or mute it. Best thing to do is using that pinky. That's what's great about these simple chords, is you're not using more than 2 notes. You could do all these. Okay, so that type of thing. And it's a little bit would be doing our typical, you've heard your brown-eyed girl a million times, you know. If you take those type of chords, which are what we're playing right now, you already know the chords, so you can already probably play it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, anyway, and play them really fast. Okay, so you need to have that really fast picking hand. That's good to have for mandolin. Know that you can do it. Am I going to show it to you too much? Probably not, because you already know what the mandolin's purpose is, and one of them is to play like that when needed. Okay, so the rhythm is covered as far as I am concerned, and as far as you should be. Listen to bluegrass records, listen to country records, or CDs, whichever you still have, 8 tracks. If you have a gun rack, you have an 8-track player in your truck. Okay, so okay, so really get in there. So it's all about your rhythmic accents. And okay, so this type of thing. Now what we also need to accomplish, if you have checked out my teaser that's been out for a long time now on YouTube, is the major scale while we are here in G. Then I'll show you a few little licks and tricks while we are in G. Then we will move along to other chords and then put everything together so we can actually play songs, or you could go play songs tonight if you want. Okay, the major pentatonic scale, which everybody has to play, and it's especially important here. You're not going to get into all the different scales when you're playing bluegrass or country music. Okay, it just doesn't lend itself. Okay, so your scale is very strange looking here. Okay, again, as I name off the strings, again, it's going to sound weird, but remember, it's just upside down, so you have to get used to upside down. Okay, in the key of G. Okay, up here on our high E string, thank God it's there. Okay, we're going to go 3rd fret, high E, 2nd fret. Then we're going to go to our A string, which is the next string up, or set of strings. I'm just going to call it A string because they are the same. So I'm going to consider this a 4-string instrument for all intensive purposes. So, okay, so 3, 2, now on your A string, I'm just going to call the fret numbers. I'm not going to say 7th fret, 5th fret, all that. I'm going to start using numbers just as you would in tab. And no, I'm not offering tab for this. Don't ask me for it. Why? Because I don't like it. So that's why. Okay, so 3, 2, Now to your A string, we're going to go 7, 5, 3, 2. Okay, if you need to write it down, do, but you probably don't. And then to your D string, 7 and 5. That's your entire major scale. Okay, back to the E string, 3, 2. A string is 5, 7, or I'm sorry, 7, 5, 3, 2. 7, 5, 3, 2. And then finally on your D string, 7 and 5. Again, slow. And the other way. 5, 7, then 2, 3, 5, 7. Now 2 and 3. Okay, so you have to play all of your notes when you're doing mandolin. There are no real hammer-ons and pull-offs. I'll do some demonstrations of hammer-ons and pull-offs and then cure you of them, because I know we love to play them, but we have to curb ourselves and play every note on a mandolin. You can get by with some of the hammer-ons and pull-offs, but it is a lot cleaner and a lot more authentic, because these folks are very serious about you playing every note there is, and it sounds more like what it's supposed to. We're playing the real deal here. It's not like a 6-string banjo where it's just tuned like a guitar. This is a real instrument, and you better learn it the real way. Why? Because I said. Okay, so again, do that all day long to learn your new scale. And then do the typical changing of the guards here, going backward. And then you know that you can keep climbing, going from your 1 to your 2 to your 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you know your scales or your basic theory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as high as you want to go. Again, it's going to screw you up because your 9th fret is no longer labeled. It's your 10th. Okay? Okay, so once you get way up here, it gets screwy anyway, but they can be played, but who's going to do it? Not many people. So get that down. Okay, you can already make music now, you just don't know it yet. Some of you maybe do. You're just in G. And that's a good little scale. Okay, and when you think about it, you got to the end, and you ended on G, you started on G, you found your 2 octaves. Now how they're played on this instrument, your octaves are backward. Okay, so you have one on the 5th fret, skip a string, then 3rd fret for your Gs. I'll get there eventually. Okay, so they are that way. So if you need to find your A's, B's, C's, D's. So another finger you can add in to make this a full chord as a triad. Okay, you have your G, you have your B note, 2nd fret of your A string. Okay, now we need to add in here on our D string at the 5th fret is going to be or our D note. I'm sorry. So D string all the way up, but I have to D, E, F, G. Okay, so that will just finish out. This makes the chord actually modal. Okay, what does that mean? It means you can move the thing around. Okay, so this is like a D chord that you can move anywhere, or an F chord on a guitar that you can move anywhere. That's what these are. You take that chord, the G chord, with those 3 strings now. Again, I'm calling this a 4-string instrument. Your G chord. You move it up 2 frets, you got A. Yeah, there's other ways to play A chords, and we'll get there. A sharp, B, C. But of course there are other ways, and you'll learn them all. Okay, so just know that. Okay, from there, I want to kind of show you some few things. Okay, we have our scale. We have this now. And we have... Okay. Play around within the scale. Again, I'm not going to show you every little thing. Why? Because you know how to play guitar, and you already know how to improvise within that. You can be playing... Okay, so you can play any note within that scale, just like you do on guitar. Okay, so I'll show you some of the easy licks here in just a second. A quick thing here that would normally be a hammer-on, pull-off type of licks for guitar, I'm going to show them to you here on the mandolin because these are useful. One being, go back to your regular G chord with your 2 fingers, and we will be hammering on, yeah, for a second, and then we'll play every note, just from the A string, which is that one that you have your 2nd fret on, 2nd fret to the 5th fret, and then up to the G note on the E string. Okay? Now try to play them all. Okay, now if you were also to get fancier, because you're a guitar player and you want to be, and because a mandolin can be extremely as fancy as you want it to get, it's often the only lead instrument besides a guitar in a lot of bluegrass groups. If you have a fiddle player, you're lucky. Otherwise, you're stuck with guitar and a mandolin. That's usually it. Then you're really lucky if you get like a dobro player in there or what have you. But we can also add in the A note, which is your 2nd. Okay, so that's the 5th fret on your E string. So you have... Okay, so I want you to play that. So 2, 5 on your A string, then 3, 5, 3 on your E string. Okay, if we were playing this on guitar using hammer-ons or pull-offs, it would be this. Now you can use that because you don't hear mandolin players doing that. So you can use that to your advantage and become a breakthrough artist on this little guy. Because you're not going to sound like most mandolin players. You might be an abomination, an outcast, or you might be the next Jimi Hendrix of the mandolin, depending on how many pure bluegrass players are in the audience that night. Okay, probably not too many, you know, with the scale we're on here. So there's a quick little riff to throw in with your G chord. So like I said, you're just playing along, and you got your scales. Okay, what are those? Same notes from the scale. So it's just the same thing you've always done on guitar, but you have these now to use. Okay, so just extra notes, just variations, variations, variations. Okay, now what do we get to do now? We get to do, let's just go ahead and change chords. We got to do them all. Okay, we don't have all day long. And when I say it's time, then it's time. But we're going to go ahead and go to C. How are we going to do it here? We're going to do it by doing exactly as the title suggests. We're going to do it guitar style. So if you're doing a G chord normally, what's the easiest way to get to a C chord? Is the pseudo C chord, which is just moving the two fingers down. And then moving these two down. That's the way we're going to do it on the mandolin anyway. So you're going to take them from your E string and your A string and just move them down one. Okay? Since we have cut off these strings down here, they no longer apply. So all we have are those two notes. We're just going to move them down one fret. But remember, on the mandolin, it's upside down. So we're going to be moving them not down one fret, but down one string. We're going to be moving them up one string. So to show you that, which you should already be way ahead of me before I even pick the mandolin back up. Okay, where you were here for the G, everything will still apply. All the open notes will still be okay. All you have to do is simply move both of those up. So now on your A string, you have the 3rd fret. And on your D string, you have the 2nd fret. And you still get to play all 8 strings. And there's your C chord. Every single thing will always work on a mandolin. The scales, the everything. You don't have to worry about B strings and all that in there to make it an weird instrument like a guitar is tuned. Whatever works anywhere on a mandolin will work in all positions. Okay, so that's one good thing about it. You don't have any, like I said, that weird B string on guitars to try to skip around and then have to do different versions of, where you end up with D chords instead of looking just like this. You have to do that for a guitar. It does not apply here. Okay, so it's a simpler instrument. It's just the fact that your brain is programmed to do a guitar. So we are trying to deprogram you and dumb you down in order to play this. Not to say that mandolin players are dumb. It is saying that it is a simpler instrument. Okay, so to train yourself to go backward in thought and upside down is deprogramming. Okay, so it is harder to unlearn something than it is to learn it. Okay, so here's our G. Move everything up one string instead of down because it's upside down too. Okay, remember that. So up for a C chord. Everything that we've played so far, do the scale. Okay. Same thing. You're just starting on the C, which is, of course, the 3rd fret on your A string. A sharp, B, C. Okay, so. Okay, so it's no different. You can do the sneak behind and grab your major 7, just like you're going up the other way. Okay. Okay, so everything is going to be identical. Even the all that junk is the same. Okay, so remember, everything is identical. Okay, now here's where we get into some real fun. Again, don't be doing, unless you just want to, try to pick them all. Until you build up enough speed. You'll never be as fast as... So your guitar player, be proud, use it if you have to. Okay? If you want to be groovy, put a whammy bar on the thing. I don't care. That'd be cool. I've already played. Yes, trust me. I've been there, done that with the whole trying to play slide on a mandolin. Don't work well. Anyway, so what I want to do next is actually show you a little lick that is, again, based on the same pentatonic scale, but you've heard this lick a million times, but it is heard a million times in the right kind of music that you're playing here. Okay? Okay. Okay, I've got my lick now. I'll get my licks in later. No, I'll get them in now. And the lick is this. Okay, to make it cleaner for me. Okay, you've heard that a bunch of times. It's just an old bluegrass standard lick, but it teaches you this scale more thoroughly, and you're going to need these, as many of these as you can get. Okay, this is in C. Okay, so what we're looking at is the C note. Okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to rattle off the fret numbers again, not the names of the notes, none of that, just looking at the thing. So playing 3, we're going to do a slide from 5 to 7. We're here on the A string. So we're actually going to start on the 5 to the 7. Okay. And then 3, 5, 3 on the E string. Then doing a slide from 7 to 5 on the A string. Then back to the 3 on the A string. So then same thing again. Then you stop there on that G note, okay? And try to pick as many as you can. Okay? So if you're doing the slide, try to actually pick both. And right back to that. Okay? Again. Then we have 5, 3, then 7, 5 on your D string. Then finally you end up on the C note or 3rd fret on your A string. Okay? Whole thing slowly. Okay? And if you need to slide it, it's just a real cool thing. If you're jamming along the key of C, if you have your own backing tracks, cool, find them, they're everywhere. Go to YouTube, download the thing, whatever. So you're playing along, turn on your Casio keyboard, whatever, and just have this something going, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka. Heck, I probably have one over here. I do have a Casio, by golly. Let me find us a good rhythm. Let's go to rhythms. I'll punch that button, rhythm, and let's go to, let's find out what we have. Not bad, huh? Now let me read if it gives me a chord. One set preset. Let's do that. Okay. Let's do this. See what happens. Okay, that's in the key of C. Now here's that little thing we just did. so it's just that easy. Again. Okay, let's get the tempo down for everybody to be able to work with. C. Here's a good place to do your rhythm. So here's that little lick. Your turn. Your turn. One more time. Okay, while that's going on, you have your scale that you can be working on. So you can do whatever you want to do and keep those rhythms going. Okay. So we'll come back to using some of those for some rhythm things here in a little bit. But that is a quick, just little way. Same thing, if you have that going, let's do it again just for fun. And same thing with our little... That's the phrasing. Enough of that. So we're getting a little wacky, but hey, that's an evening with Scott Grove without being wacky. It would not be an evening with me, that's for dang sure. Okay, now you have that basic thing in. We need to get to a third chord, which would be a D. Okay, a D, a deer, a female deer. No, I didn't even start there, did I? Okay, a doe. Okay, simply put, let me just show you a D chord. We'll analyze it. A D chord is simply doing both strings on the outsides on the second frets. Okay, so you're doing your G string second fret, which will give you an A note, which is in your D chord if you know your guitar. So you have, okay, second fret on your G string. Your next string down is your D, or your next pairing. Your next ones down are your A strings. That's in a D chord already. And then if we go to an E string, we need to add an F sharp in order to get our third. That's just about as pretty a chord as you're going to hear right there. Okay, so, and I will go through all these and show you which fingers you can lift, which ones you can't, which ones you can put back on. That's where all our flavor will come, but right now we got to get through the basics. Okay, we got to walk. Well, I like to walk before I crawl, but we got to crawl before we walk here. So D chord is simply that. Okay, so just both outside notes. Okay, again, you have your G string at the 2nd fret, which is your A note, and you have an A string. So you're covering 2 of those. You have your D string for our D note, so that's your root note. Then you have your 3rd being the F sharp because it's on the E string, 2nd fret. And what do we know about our thirds? We can always take a 3rd and make it into a 4th by going up 1 fret. So really quickly you got a nice, the suspended 4th. That's all suspended means is add. Okay, so it means take a 3rd, that one, and add a 4th to it. So okay, so we're taking away the 3rd and making it a 2nd, which is an E up against our D note. So from D on up to E, that is a suspended 2nd if you get rid of what is on the E string. Okay, so you have D, take off your middle finger, that is D suspended 2nd, add it back on, off, then go to the 3rd fret, and it's a suspended 3rd, I'm sorry, a suspended 4th. Okay, so that's just adding a 4th, so you yeah, I'm getting a little out of tune. I'll tune when I change tapes, okay, which will be in about 15 minutes. Okay, so there is your D chord. So what we have, let's do this, review real quick over these 3 chords. Just your G chord. There I am playing it like a ukulele. And your C chord. Back to your D chord, or G chord. Now to your D chord. Back to your G chord. And your D chord. Back to your G. Okay, so we have our first 3 chord pattern. Okay, it took us 45 minutes to get there. It took me that long to get there. It takes me longer than everybody. That's why these lessons are so long, because I love to rattle. But I love to make sure that people who aren't quite as advanced as others might be have a chance to accelerate. Okay, if some of you know it, all this stuff, skip ahead. Hit the button. That's what it's there for. Go another chapter ahead. Whatever. But everybody gets a fair shake with Scott here. Okay, so that's why I go as slow as I do. Again, those are your 3 chords, G, C, and D for the first pattern. But what do you do about all these runs in D? You're just going to leave me hanging? No. What do? We had the C thing, right? Guess what? Instead of starting in C, move it up 2 frets, go to D. You're smarter than that, people. Okay, so that's all you gotta do. Move it up 2 frets. Okay? If you're playing C, okay, think of this. What do you have on guitars that we're not doing yet? Bar chords. Yes, there are bar chords on every instrument that has strings. Okay, think of this. If you don't want to play a D like this, and who wouldn't, but think of your C. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. Okay, now let's take that whole thing. Let's do what we normally do. Let's change. Let's put a pinky 3rd fret on your A string. Put your middle, your ring finger on the 2nd fret of your D string. Let's move everything 2 frets up. And then lay a bar down. There's another kind of D chord instead of this one. This is just the same as your C chord, but moving it up 2 frets and barring it. So there's C. Guess what? Or D. Guess what? Here's E. Here's F. Here's G. Here's A. Okay, so there's bar chords coming up. Most of this you can figure out yourself. But yes, bar chords. Just think of everything upside down, and you'll come up with a lot more than I'm even going to show you today, okay? So bar everything if you can. You had your G earlier. Do the same thing to it. Okay, we had G. Play them now like this with the pinky there. and your middle, or your ring finger there. There's G. Move it up 2 frets. Bar it. There's A. There's A. But there's another A that's played this way, which I'll show you in a little bit, but there's another one. And then you already know, hey, there's my high E string, so that means on A I can already go. I already know my scale because it's the same all the time, because this instrument is perfect that way, that it's always going to be the same for whatever. So you go to A, that 5th fret, because you know it, because by God there's that familiar E string in the position it should be for a guitar player. So you're in A. Okay, how do I get to an A? Well, I don't really remember how to play an A, but I know a G is really simple by playing 2 fingers. So I'll just move it ahead 2 and then bar it. Okay, so there's an instant A chord. Hey, by God, we're way ahead of ourselves, aren't we? Okay, so think of bar chords. They are everywhere, kids. The books will tell you to play a G chord thusly. Okay, what we normally did. This is not how the books tell you. This is how Scott tells you. The book says, yes, go ahead and put that finger on the 5th fret on your D string. And then it tells you go ahead, and it sounds horrible, to stick your pinky all the way up here on the 7th fret of your G string. This sounds better to me than... It just don't sound good, and who wants to play that? You know, I say bar it. Find another chord, and use a bar, make a bar chord out of it. Okay, so that's just letting you know that. So in D, when we're doing our D here, or doing our D like a C chord, barring it. So take your C chord, move it up 2 frets, and then put a bar behind there. Now all your scales, all your runs, all your everything, if you have the runs, hey, I got something that hook you up right up, make it regular again. But think, okay, everything is identical. So you're working out of what you just worked with, out of C. So now you can do the, or the, same thing, or the, okay, so it's all the same junk. Then you're right back to D again. Okay, or the. Now you have new options if you're barring on what notes you can lift up. In a regular A chord, you can't do that. Or a regular D chord, I'm sorry, which is now an E. Okay, so, or that's actually A. In a regular A chord, you cannot make that thing. If we're doing C, and move that whole thing up, bar it. Now you're in D, so you start here. Okay, which is probably what I was saying before earlier, and I got confused, but you see what I mean? So if you're in G, and you want to borrow it, bar it, bring it up to A, and then, and if you're in C, and you want to bar it, bring it up to D, then same thing, start on D, so you start from the D, and then, and so forth. If you were in the G, and you go to A, you got to find the A, which is there, or an octave, because remember they were this way, you just skip a string, and then, or, okay, so they're going to be played the same ways. So a lot of bar stuff will be happening, but look, you're in C, bar it, go to D, instead of this D, because now you have more options of so explore every avenue of what you can lift, what you can take away to make things cool, because the majority of the time you're going to be doing rhythm on these things anyway, especially right off the get-go, until you get used to playing all these different patterns and your scales going backwards and upside down. It's going to, like I said, it's going to take time to deprogram you from guitar to understanding this. Not much, but just enough. Okay, so again, G. Now let's do it to A just by barring and going up 2 frets. Okay, now you can. Okay, you see all I'm doing. I don't have to tell you much. Okay, you're just lifting up your ring finger. Okay, and you can add different things. Okay, you can add notes right here behind it. So you're just adding a note to the 4th fret now, so just 2 frets up. So if you were back here, okay, like I said, I'll show you all these notes you can add and take away and all the different chords. But we'll just do it as we go along and keep it at this pace, okay? And we'll throw in the little Casio now and then and play little things. But the best thing you can do is just turn on your own Casio or download any backing tracks or play along with any song. It don't matter. And just pick along. You're not going to find I don't think they make such a thing as a capo for mandolin, so you'll get to bar everything. Do not try to use your capo on your mandolin. It's just not a beautiful looking thing. Play it like a man, okay? So a few more minutes on this particular tape. Yeah, I still use the one with the tapes. I tried about 5 HD cameras. Didn't like one of them, so you guys get stuck with this one because I bought another one just like my old one that farted out on me. So I tried a few more cameras and they came dead on arrival, and I just went back and bought another good old camera. And I think this is the first video that's actually for sale that's shot on the new camera after 8 years of the old one working for me. So hopefully y'all see me fine and dandy. So again, when I'm getting ready to change this tape in here, as I will in 4 minutes, remember, bar chords are your friends. And like I said, any bozo can go online and print out, oh heck, I've got them here somewhere, here's some chord charts for mandolins, okay, beginner style chords, key of whatever, and they're going to be right to some degree, but they're not the best sounding chords, okay. The right chords, according to somebody else, is not the right sounding chord to a guitar player, and it's not necessarily the right sounding chord for what you want to play. So I'm here to weed out all the BS like I usually do. I'm usually not real fond of 99% of the way things are taught. So that's why I'm here to weed through this stuff that anybody can print out and throw 95% of that crap into the dumpster because you don't need it and it sounds bad. So I'll show you better ways to play them. Why do I say better? Because they are. Okay, yeah, so whoever made up this stuff, a lot of these people ought to be shot. Yeah, this is where I start ranting and raving as soon as I see my little light blink and says, Scotty, it's time to change the tape. But that's what I'm here for. That's why some of you hate me. That's why some of you love me. Because I get rid of the crap in here that don't need to be here. So again, when you're doing the bar chords, okay, here we are in A. Don't just think you have to stay with that bar chord. Use everything else that you're already using. You are already using the... So do it in A. Okay, you're there in A. A, this is for all my Canadian friends, or North Dakota, or Minnesota. Okay, so you're there, these are already in place, so you're in A. Again, I'm going to show you in a second what to do with all these. But use the licks I've already showed you. You're in A, grab those again, go back to... Okay, so all that fun junk. Okay, I'm going to change tapes. We'll get back. I'll get back on track of teaching you all the other chords and minors. You don't generally hear really sad bluegrass songs, but we have to do minors. How do you do that? You flat the third, kids. Imagine that. Yeah, we're in G, and there's the third. That's all you do. You take the third in the G chord, and you flat it 1 fret. Guess what? That's how you play a G minor. Ooh, ah, he's mystical, all powerful. Can we do this in 3D? Everything's in 3 flipping D. Put your glasses on. Let's go. Okay, I'll shut up, change tapes, we'll come back. I'll take another, whatever, 10 more pills that I'm on. They're prescriptions. I don't know whose prescriptions they are, but they are prescription. And we'll get right back into this thing. Okay, so here comes... Ooh, some funky kind of editing, and then we'll be right back. All right. Okay, we are back, Gene and I. So we were freaking out. Now we're back. Okay. What we left talking about was the bar chords. Okay, those are going to come in very handy in a minute because a lot of the rest of the chords that are coming up, I don't agree with at all. Imagine that. So I'm going way against the grain. Again, if you want to learn the real way to play them, go online, go to Google, hit mandolin chords or chord chart, and print it out. It'll show you the real ways. If you want to play a B chord, guess what? It wants you to do it way up here. Okay, fine and dandy for y'all, but hey, I'm all for do a little bar chord and I'm there, dudes. Sounds better here, trust me, than what the 100-year-old versions they show are. Okay, and just as easy, you can take your G chord, which we said before, and this one sounds way better. G. I sound like Mr. Rogers. Sure. Take your G, then go up to A, and then one more, and just bar it. That sounds as good as any B chord I've ever heard, kiddies. Sure enough. Oh, it sounds like that other weird guy on Family Guy. Yeah. Okay. Too much fun watching my adult cartoons. Okay, so I'll show you bar chord versions of everything. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, let's do 3 more chords. Let's do E, A, and B. Okay? Those haven't been used yet. Okay, how do we do an E chord? Think about your guitar. Think about being backwards. Okay? So you have an E string. Guess what? That's probably going to be open. Okay? Now think about how you played an E chord on your guitar. Okay? Not too tough. Remember, you only have a 4-string guitar. That B string and E string are gone. So these 2 strings, they don't exist. So what do? You go to the A string, play 2nd fret. You go to the D string, play 2nd fret, and you play the 1st fret on your G string. You do the same thing to your mandolin. Imagine that. Okay? So, but it's just upside down. So remember, your A string 2nd, D string 2nd, and G string 1st. And then you have your open E string. No other strings to worry about. Okay? So it's just that simple. Let's think it out. Think it through. We have an E string. Everything's backward. We have the A string, 2nd fret. We had the D string, 2nd fret. And then we had the G string, 1st fret. I know, it sounds weird. It's a voicing thing. So you have to decide whether you like that. Okay, so again, it's hard to see. Oh, let me take my glasses off. Okay, sunglasses. There we go. Okay, again, 2nd fret on your A, 2nd fret on your D, and then way up here at the top. It's just backward. So the voicing sounds kind of strange. Okay, so you decide whether you like it or not, and then you have the open high E string. Okay, So when you do, this is your third. Take it off, it's your minor, E minor. Who's going to be playing any brooding music in the key of E minor on their mandolin? Nobody. But there it is. That's how you get one. For the people who are going to email me, dude, my life sucks. How do I play a minor chord on my mandolin? That's how you do it, dude. Need a pistol too? We'll get this over with for you. Okay, so if you want a suspended fourth out of it, bring everything up to one. Then bring that back down. Okay, so that is your E chord, if you want it. There it is, come and get it. I know some of you are way too young to know that song. So that is the E chord that is shown, okay? I find it a little dark, a little dismal, a little funky. We'll come up with something cuter for it. A, that's it, A. How's it going? A. Your A chord is very similar, okay? Think about it again. You normally have one finger covering up 3 strings. Well, we only get to cover 2 of those strings because we don't have a B string on here. So what do we normally do? We normally play an open A string, so we'll keep doing that. And then we have to cover the D string 2nd fret and the G string 2nd fret. And now we usually have a high E string we can play. We still do. So there's your A chord. Not an acorn. Yeah, it's kind of nuts, but it's not an A chord. Or it's not an acorn. Okay, so. Okay, so what am I doing during the A's? Yeah, we'll come back and get everything else, but as I'm going, I just make up these lessons as I go. It's the best way to do them. I don't ever plan these things out. As they come to me, I put them there, and that's what makes it fun. We're just hanging out, we're buddies, having a good time. That's the way I think teaching should be done. Just spur of the moment, and you learn together. Okay, so we're going to mess around with this A chord because it actually sounds pretty good. And remember, you can add a pinky because you know where it goes, 5th fret on your E string, because we know our E string. Okay, so you can add that there if you want. Just to brighten it up for fun. And again, you can always take, remember, your G chord, take it, move it up to, and bar it. And have that bright, shiny A chord. To me, it's a better sounding chord. We'll start with the original one because there are variations here. So the first one is the one we just worked on, where there's just 2 notes fretted, both at the 2nd fret on your G string and on your D string. Everything else is open. Okay, and of course you can lift and separate. No, lift and put back down either one of those fingers. Okay, and either way it sounds great. And now the other one. Okay, that's one of those that sounds good doing a hammer on. And then the last note you hit is actually the A note, or the A strings. They're coming up. Okay, and also remember your A string is there. And if you're looking at it, your pinky is in reach to grab the 3rd, not the 3rd fret, but the 3rd of the chord. So you can do an A suspended 2nd by putting your pinky down at the 2nd fret. Or putting A suspended, or putting the 3rd down. and you can add the suspended fourth. Oddly enough, the third is on the 4th fret and the 4th is on the 5th fret. Okay, those will sound better when we do the bar chord. Okay, so that's just letting you know that is the A chord that is showed in the book. And you can stick your thumb right here on the back end of the old deal right there and really reach that pinky up and grab that 5th fret. If you want to make it happy, but you want to make it really happy, let's do it. Let's do what we started to do before we went to our commercial identification, station identification. Let's do the G chord using your pinky at the 3rd fret and your ring finger at the 2nd fret. Move it all up 2 frets and bar it. And use that A chord. Okay, so here we go. So you have your G chord barred up to an A position. Okay, you can do again with the hammer on type stuff, but that is done a lot, especially in the rhythms. That's just lifting up and down your ring finger, which is at the 4th fret on your A string. Okay, what I'm doing there is using the same finger. Okay, this is going to a suspended 2nd for all you techie heads or you theory nuts, and you're going on to a hammer on your D string. Okay, so 2, 4 on your D string. Then you're hitting the one that is already barred on the A string at the 2nd fret, which makes it a suspended 2nd. Okay, so you have the okay, you don't want to go way up there. Alright, let me get back on track. And just let off of it and let the A string ring, which is those. Okay, so you're next to the last ones down. Okay. So you've got octaves going on there with your A string and then your 5th fret on your E string, which can play into your favor again, because there you're on A and A. Then you can take your pinky and go either way. I'm throwing all kinds of ideas your way, so just pick them up as we go. Pinky is already there, so you got octaves. You can go down to the 2nd fret with your pinky. And then pull it off, so you're playing just those 2 strings, or those 2 sets of strings, okay? Okay, so you can do the hammer on again at the 2nd fret on your A string, up to the E. Okay, so you just do that, everything at the 2nd fret. So it just gives you another option if you're hanging there when you were doing that bar chord, and you end up with a need to resolve by hitting an A string open, and you have your pinky there and you have octaves going on, you can go down to the 2nd fret and you can play both strings to open and have an A there. Okay, this is for more lead type of stuff. Okay, and back to the 7th and to the 9th. and go 10th and 12th even. Okay, so you're going from your A to your second, which is your B at the 7th fret, then up to your C sharp at the 9th fret, your D at the 10th fret, that weird looking inlay at the 10th fret, and then finally up to your E note at the 12th fret. Okay, so, and same thing with all your little things. Okay, we're going to do the bar A chord again. Okay, and same with the all that stuff. The let's find our A. Let's find an A on the A string. It's there. Okay, so let's find it on a lower note. Let's go to our lower string. Okay, so 7th fret here on our D string, or so same thing. You find your note. There's your A note, 7th fret, just like you're tuning it, tuning your A string. You start there with that one lick I showed you earlier. Same pattern. So you can play it there, or you can play it, you know, wherever you can find an A to start with. Okay, except for the open A string. I guess you can do it there. See? Yeah. It's kind of cool that way. I'm learning, like I said, I learned as you do. So you can do an A on the A string. Okay, so you can do it there. I just did for the first time. I've always tried to do it here, but hey, learn something new. Okay, those are simply just other things to do in A. Okay, more things coming up here for you. That'll be in D once we go back there. We can go back there now. But A, real quick, all I was doing was when we were in A, I was just doing some... Okay, that's just playing around with the open A string, going from the original A that we could use, so we know we can go to the 2nd fret here on our D string, gives us our E note. Then we can go to the 4th fret, the 5th fret, which is actually the A7th, so you're looking at A7, getting kind of in that blues scale when you go to the actual 7th. So you can go add those together, 2, 4, 5, and then back to your root at 7. So now we're back to A's again, 2 different A's instead of these A's. Now we're at the E 2 octave. And there we go. Okay, so so we're back in A's. All kinds of things to do in A. Okay, you can change position of that ring finger from the bar thing. So from 4th fret to the 5th fret. It's just to add. I'm trying not to make this sound too far-fetched from a guitar at the moment, because I want you to hear the relationship of the chords like you would normally play on a guitar. Now I'm going to actually add in mandolin picking flavor. Okay, so you see how you play on the skip beats, and that will sound cool even with the Casio again. Let's put it on in the key of A. I know we're playing it sounds just like a Casio, doesn't it? You can do this. So it's all relative, as they say in Kentucky. Relative humidity when your mom and dad rub up against each other and all the sweat runs down the crack of their... That's relative humidity. Drink it if you got it. So that's just kind of showing you the role of that. So we did E, A, and we need to do a B. You do not want to see how they play a B on the stupid charts here. Let me show you a B. I brought these out just for the sake of B's. Just to show you what they're actually calling things. Look at this, children. Okay, for those of you who know what this is. Okay, this is their version of the B chord. This guy right here. Okay, so that's the 6th fret. So you're looking at 6, 7, 9, 11th fret. To get a B chord, are you flipping serious? It will sound like crap. Okay, so these are what they tell you to play. And those are going to be your Hal Leonard, Mel Bay, all those books. Yeah, I'll name names because they are too outdated and should be changed. Okay, so your B chord is simply do what you just did with your barred A chord. Okay, and take the whole thing, which was originally a G chord, and then we barred it to an A chord, take it up 2 more frets, there's your B. Now do everything you've already learned. Okay, so there's nothing different. I mean, it's the same stuff. Yeah, there's plenty more lead things that you can do, and we'll get into more of that, but I have to get you through the chords. Okay, then we'll have some more fun. We'll have fun as we go, but right now you can apply every last little thing that you just did in that A to the B. Okay, if you need a let's see what we got here. Really love hurts. Yeah, Meatloaf does the mandolin. I can see that. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, let's find a... Okay, here's our B. Okay, that's something we're going to need later. Okay, let's go ahead and play it. Okay, So here's our B. We've already established that it's just a G chord, moved up with a bar to an A, and then up here to the B. Let me get up here so you can see what's getting ready to happen. Somebody's going to ask me about sevenths. Might as well do them now. Of course, all seventh is your root note, your B note. A few of these can be flatted twice. So how can we get it? Take that note. So you take it down 2 frets. So you take what we have, and you simply leave this guy here, and then go back 2 frets by using a different finger, and then play it. Okay? Because you'll want to use that later. For any thing you're playing. If you're playing G, same thing. 7th, then to C. Okay, and if you're, like I said, just the G. So you take your root note, whatever's on your E string, if you're playing something based off of your E string like this, and just take it down 2 frets and you have a 7th. Lets you know you're changing chords. Yeah, we get pretty again, sound like a ukulele, but that demonstrates that it's letting you know you're getting ready to change keys. Okay, so those are 7ths. So back up to our B, which is this. Okay, so it's just the A, move it up, ta-da, you're done. Play the same things. You can't let it go open now because you don't have an open B string. So I had to do back 2 frets on the A string. Okay, so same stuff, same scale. Yeah. And so on and so on and so on. So all the same licks. If you're in B, you can still do the same thing we've been doing on everything. Okay, so you have your E, which was the dark brooding thing way down here. Okay, and we wanted to change it and put it somewhere. We did that by, let's do the D chord, which was just that from the beginning. Let's just make a bar chord out of it, and it'll make a much brighter, much better sounding E chord. So bar it like a capo with the 2nd fret, and then play that D chord again. Play it with 2 other fingers. You don't always have to hit 4 strings. You can play 2 strings. 2 strings are fine. Most people playing the mandolin are not playing 4 strings all at once. It's not an acoustic guitar. It is meant to be chinky, chunky, chinky, chunky, chinky. It's supposed to sound like a little, what do you call those things? Like a music box almost. It's very chimey. Okay, so it's tinky, 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 tinky. You don't have to play 4 notes all the time. So as long as you know that you can make that E chord by barring it and having all these other notes, you have those notes at your disposal. Okay, so you can okay, now this here is something that will be invaluable to you as far as melodies, okay, is using this chord. It looks like an old A chord, your old friend, okay? Thing is, we are in E now, okay? By doing this, we are going to be able to find other chords, like our G up here, which will be the same as, but we'll be doing it here, so we can go. Okay, so we have more options to play around with. So let's get here on this E thing. Okay, so we're barred to the 2nd fret, then playing our regular D chord by playing 2nd fret and 2nd fret past that on both outer strings, on your G string and your E string. So it stinks to try to play that whole thing, so play part of it. Play just this. Leave that big bottom note off there. You're not going to hear that much, but you'll hear this in ballads. Okay? Okay, so I'm missing half the notes, but that's cool because like I said, I just learned this thing a month ago, but well enough to teach y'all how to do it. I ain't lying about nothing. But this is how you play it, kids, and it's better than this other junk that you're going to find all over the internet. Okay, so these are the notes you can play when you're playing this style of chord, no matter what chord it is. If it's an E, if it's a D, okay, if you're doing it in D, okay, just like this, okay, there are notes that you can play. Let's show these notes now, okay. Okay, these are the ones you're looking for. Yeah, I wait an hour and a half to show them to you, but again, crawling before you walk. So in the key of D, we'll go back there and get it. Okay, the lick is this, going to your, what is this thing now, your D string, since we're in D. So open, 2, 4. Okay, that's just your 1, your 2, your 3. This is not fret numbers, these are your theory numbers. So fret numbers will be 1, or open, 2, 4. Then your A string, 2nd fret, so open 2nd fret. Then back to your D string, 4, 2, open. Okay, then 4, 2 on your G string. Then open D string again. Okay, so you have. Okay, so those are the notes, any order you want. If you recognize it, it's the other thing I've been teaching you all along. It's that, but it's here. Okay, but it just sounds cool there. Okay, so this is the stuff you're waiting for when it's done in an open thing like that, okay, with open strings. So it's the same thing, just go get good at it, okay. So a quick roll, that's a triplet, okay. Okay, and you just play what you feel. just making it up. And right back to your D's. Okay? So it's that cool. And you can do that in the other key, which was G. Okay, when we originally did our G, same thing. Instead of, now just do it here. Let's see. Okay, so what are we in? D? I'll get you there, by God, I swear. Okay, G. Okay, so what are we doing? Let's go to A. That's what it's in. I'm sorry. That is, okay, my bad. That's in A with the other open strings, because you have an open A string. So you do the open A string. Then you play your A string, A chord. Okay, so my bad again. Okay, so we're at the second fret on our G string and on our D string. So the note you start on is going to be determining your key. Okay, so first we were in the D. Okay, so this time we're in A, because we're starting here on the A. Okay, so that is in A. So you have D and A. Okay, for those two types of licks with them being open. Is there another one? I guess you can do it right there. And that is going to be back to your D string. Okay. Okay. So they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Okay. What other chords have we not covered? Okay. C, F, and G. So the F is the only one we're missing. Other than that, then we'll go to just patting these things up, moving fingers on, moving them off, do some licks, blah, blah, blah. So, and again, minors and that kind of thing. So F. It is a strange chord, as Fs always are. Okay, so this one, at least you don't have to bar anything. F was always the worst for everybody to figure out on an acoustic guitar. It always hurt, and no different here. It's the biggest stretch of chord you have. But luckily you have a short neck on here anyway, most of us. Okay, so one thing is constant with an F chord. Yep, you're going to the first fret on your E string. Okay, but you don't have to bar anything across. So just the first fret there, and then we go with our middle finger to the third fret of our D string, which is these. Remember, everything is still upside down. So that's the note we're looking for. And then we're stretching all the way across to the 5th fret of our G string way up here. And yep, it's all 8 strings, all 4 notes, but 8 strings. And what kind of way around there is there from doing that? That would be some sort of a bar chord. By golly, what's the closest thing to an F we can think of? Probably an E, but do we like that enough? Let's find out. So here is the F chord. Let's spend a little more time with that. Then we'll go bar chord the E thing. We'll bar the D, which is similar, and see what we like, okay? So here's the F. Okay, when you add what actually looks like a real F on a guitar chord, that gives you your suspended 4 when you actually bar it across the 2 strings and make it look exactly like a regular F chord on a guitar. That gives you your F suspended 4th. Okay? Okay, so you can do that. Okay, if you're an F, You can always take your pinky, put it on the 5th fret of your high E string, and that will give you a 3rd above. And up to suspended 4th again. I like it better down here. But then again, that's kind of down in guitar territory. Then again, if we played it like a mandolin, okay, so then it starts to sound like it's supposed to. Okay, so again, remember, most of our rhythms are going to be very boom, 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 down up, the galloping horse. Okay, boom, 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 or the stroke rolls. What I did earlier. Or hard to talk with a big old pick in your mouth. Look, I chewed a hole right through that thing. Can you believe it? It's like eating a hole through a Reese's Pieces. Can you eat a hole through a Reese's Pieces? I know you can't through a Reese's, but okay. Now let's find other ways to make our effing chord, or our F chord. Okay, so we know how to make an E chord from earlier, way down low. Now if we were to take that whole thing, move it up 1 fret, and try to bar it, that don't work. It's horrible. So our next thing to do, probably, that will sound good, just because it does sound good, and I'll tell you now, is the D chord, which was where we do our 2 on the outside. And we went up to do the E, where we just barred it at the 2nd fret. Did the same thing. Okay? And we just got rid of that low string. Now take that whole thing, which is the E, and just go up 1 more fret. That's an F chord, kids, right there. No matter what these things say, that sounds great as a regular F chord. And the other one is going to be simply barring at the 3rd fret, and then adding a finger to the 5th fret here on your high E string. Okay, all I did there was going from the 5th fret of the high E string, going down to the 3rd fret, and then keep it still 2 fingers on your A string and your D string, but then going back to the F again on your E string. So you have okay, so that's a way to get a little something something out of that. Again, from back in the F, okay, we have okay, we have the whole chord, which look like the D, which means we can use all the frets on the 5th fret to pick from. The normal chord would be fully that way, so you have on your G string a note at the 5th fret and a note at the 5th fret on your high E, and then you're barring it, but you can add the other 2 strings in there on the 5th fret for flavoring. So even though we're kind of omitting or leaving out that low string, because you really don't need it unless you're playing the big F chord, which is great, but if you're playing here, you can add in those other 2 notes on the 5th fret. Okay. Okay. Okay, we don't need to do that. Oh, see. Okay, and can I do Hendrix? Can we put a whammy bar on this thing real quick? Well, I don't have my guitar tech. Okay, we'll do that later. We'll put this thing through a Marshall stack and add a Floyd Rose to it during the next taping. Okay, so anyway, anytime you're barring using that method and barring the D chord and moving that around, you can always use all the notes that are on 2 frets past your bar. Okay, so again, we are here in F. Okay, I'm not using this low G string at all. Okay, so just, and you can add. Okay, let's bring in the old Casio just to see what is possible in the key of F by just adding a couple notes. Okay? You're like, no, not the Casio. Yeah, here comes the Casio. We'll go to F. Don't you love that? Sounds like it's from 1974. Okay, now we're just going to do those. Regular F chord. Okay, so your basic job is just that rhythm. All I added there was an extra from the 5th fret to the 6th fret on the E string up to the 8th fret. And you can do this because it's not very far, it's such a short neck. Then okay, there's the note I was looking for, going back down to the root. Okay. Okay. There's your other way to get your root if you don't want to have to get off this. If you don't want to get off of this bar here. If you go all the way up to where I showed you from the 5, 6th fret, and then up to the 8th fret. And go right above it onto your A string. Both those notes together will finish out your F chord also. So you have your F note at the 8th fret of your A string. If you don't want to get your F down here, you can get it at the 8th fret on any of this type thing. So at the end of your scale, you can get it on that next string down from your E string. So you get your E string climbing, then that same fret as the top of it. So if you're on F, you move it up more, you're up into G now. Same as G here. We've been through all the chords, so we're just doing alternates and other ways of getting to different chords. So now we're going from the F to G. So the same thing, but now we're up to the 5th fret, and then on the high E string we're at the 7th fret. This is so you just have a whole bunch of options of places to go. Okay, again, if you're looking for the root note, the G note, okay, of course we have a G string here, but it's everything else is so high sounding that just sounds out of place. It sounds guitarded. So we will find our G note by doing the same thing, going up a scale on our high E string. We're already at the 7th now. Now 8th, 10th. So once you get to the end of your scale, so we were here at the 7th, 8th, 10th, then go to your A string, and it'll be there. I've got a high fret right here, so of course that's where it's going to fart out on me, but that's where you'll find it, at the top of your scale. There it is. Okay, so so there it is in G. If we were in A way up here, and don't think you won't be sometimes. Same thing. You'll find your A finally at the end of that scale, unless you need the A string open. Okay, but you will be way up here. Okay, now let's go into some real fun. Okay, these are an hour and 50 minutes into it, where you're going to get your actual mandolin. Okay, so that kind of thing is 100% for you guitar players based, like I had mentioned maybe at one time, Brown-Eyed Girl. Okay, if you already know how to play the little Brown-Eyed Girl lick on your guitar, that's all you need to know. The rest of this will be really boring for you if you know that, but say you are in the key of G again. Let's go to about your G, your simple one. All it is doing your G chord, doing those two notes on your A string and your E string. Now we're going to take them from the 2nd fret and the 3rd fret. I'll get just the frets because we're only going to be playing those two sets of strings. 2nd fret and 3rd fret. Go into the 3rd fret and the 5th fret. And then take that whole thing, move it up to 5 and 7. Back to 3 and 5. Back to 2 and 3. Okay, backward. Okay. Okay, that's all it is. Now if you want to take the whole thing up, all the way up to 7 and 8, then 8 and 10, then 10 and 12, backward, then back to the beginning, then to your D chord. You would end up with this solely. Yeah, and then with the big Vegas chord. I'm just outside of Vegas, if anybody wants to know where I'm at. About an hour outside of Vegas. So everybody in the lounges always would end a song without, you can't have a song without that. Welcome to the Tropicana. Okay, so you have to do that here. Anyway, so that's your Brown-Eyed Girl theory behind this. Who would ever think Van Morrison would be the king of theory for so many little things? Maybe he's not, maybe only in my head. But that is the quintessential. Where did I buy that word from? I never went to college. I must have heard it on The View, and Whoopi threw that out at me. Whoopi, Joy, and Elizabeth, and okay. I know too much. I need to quit watching daytime TV and start giving lessons again. Okay, so you know how to play that now. Now take that and destroy it by speed picking. Okay, so if you have any methamphetamines or something now, that would be a good time to take it. Because if you have any way of just picking this thing and just okay, that's the way you hear some of this mandolin stuff down. It fades in real slowly. So a lot of people, if they use a microphone, they will stand back. If they're not plugged in with an electric mandolin, they'll stand back from that mic and they'll actually just come towards you and bleed out of there and come back in, and then come back in with, and come back out of that, and then they'll come back into it with. Okay, but they get this, you know, but not get that high. Okay, so that's what that's all about. Okay, so it's wherever you need it to be. So if it's, you can base it on your high E string, which is a beautiful thing, because we know as guitar players our high E strings. So if you're playing in the key of A and you need that kind of thing to fill in, you know right away now that you can use the brown-eyed girl method. Use your high E string as a guide, go right to that A position, use your brown-eyed girl chords that I just showed you, and you can add those cool little things into the ballads that are just okay, so you're doing the same thing. So there you're in A, there's your D, and then back to A, and if you're going to E, how do I know that's an E? Because it's just that whole thing, but I'm only doing part of it. I'm doing 2 strings of that whole bar thing. So A, I can go to the 7th, taking the A down, about down 2 frets, so make it really cool that way. To our D, back to our A, to our E, okay, then back to our A. A7 to E or D to A, E, throw the pinky way up high there, up onto the 7th fret, back to your A. Okay, so that's how you get that kind of thing, and that is just a matter of getting better at it or trying stiffer picks. Picks are one thing I haven't mentioned. You'll find everybody, this here's supposed to be one of the mandolin V picks. Let me find it. They got like the little bitty ones like this. Some people think there's a difference. There might be, there might not be. As far as I'm concerned, I like using just guitar picks. This here is supposed to be a mandolin pick, little bitty guy. I don't care for that. I just grab a good old guitar pick and go at it. So it's totally up to you which picking method or which pick you pick. Okay. So anyway, I get to change the tapes, and we'll explore a little more here on our mandolin. Okay, so be back in 2 and 2, and as soon as I do one of those lovely, oh so creative Windows Movie Maker transitions, here we go. I do this just to add effect. Ain't it flipping your mind out? Ooh, Ah, what's coming up next must be a magical producer doing the special effects. I'm getting nominated for special effects anyway. Oh, okay, we're back from stupid effects. Okay. Coming up now, basically it is nothing more than me just telling you to just work on all of your chord patterns, being your G, C's, or G, C's, and D's, yes, your E, A's, and B's, adding in sevenths, and starting off slow with that type of thing. So, people always ask me about practice regiments and so on. For this particular lesson, I would actually say to get the most out of it, to start right from the beginning and take it slow. Okay? Even though you're a good guitar player or an average guitar player, or you suck as a guitar player, it doesn't matter. You're on a new instrument now. Okay? All kidding aside for just a minute, because I can't be serious for too long. But literally try to do the mandolin style playing instead of guitar stuff from here on out. Okay? Concentrate strictly on simple as it is. Okay, something as simple as that in every key, because you have to know all of your chords. Okay, so again, if you're in E, pick a place that you like it. I don't like it myself down here in the low. I don't like it there. So I like the D thing where you actually get rid of the low string and bar it and bring it up. Okay, so there you are in that, and the E, and the A, back to E, and the B, okay, and just getting basic chord patterns down and remembering all your chords, okay, and try to make sevenths out of these, because again, when it comes time to get serious and play this thing for real, the meat of this whole thing is going to be the simple sound of that. You know, the okay, and that stuff will be there, but and then you'll have little lead rides, of course, where you can just okay, so you'll get it. I almost put myself to sleep right there. Okay, but seriously, play the simplest stuff first. Get used to boom, bada, bada, boom, and learn your chords. Okay, because again, the instrument is upside down. You know that big time by now. And of course, like I said, make sure your bridge is in the proper place. Make sure your action is someplace good. I could probably stand to raise mine to get rid of the little fart here at the 12th or the 10th fret, but you're not going to be playing mine, you're going to be playing yours. Okay? Remember, the cheaper your instrument it is, the harder it will probably be to play it and or set it up. So if you're serious about playing it, you might consider going ahead and sell whatever you got unless you have a good one. This would be the cheapest I would go for, okay, because it's nothing special, that's for sure. But it got me through this lesson, and that's all I needed it for. No, I'll be doing the very beginners for the people who've never played anything before, and as I progress, then I'll actually put out better lessons on this one. So if anybody actually wants a part 2, I will continue to actually practice myself, and we'll just grow together. Okay? So that is what my work regimen would be for you. It's actually, like I said, get every single chord, get them with the sevenths and everything. Find out where your sevenths are just by simply, you know how to do them. Flat the root twice. G turns into F. Okay, but you'll only need it on the one chord. Minors, you already know how to do that. Again, flat the third. Okay, so your sevenths, you flat the root, but for the minor, you flat the third in the chord. Okay, so don't ask me how to play minors, because if you listen to me and you are a guitar player, you already know how to pick out the 1, the 3, and the 5, and a chord, the root, the third, and the fifth, and a chord. Okay, so if you have a proper G chord, you will have all the notes in there. So your root, your fifth, and your third, all in there, and you just have to flat, like I said, the third for your minors. You'll do that with everything. The other thing is to practice the scales. Okay, usually I'm not a big scale freak, but on here you really need to do that major scale, pentatonic scale, as much as you can in every key while you're playing it. If you're playing along in the key of A, you need to, every now and then, just know that right off the fly you can play that scale, the major scale. Not like that. However you want to. Play a lead during it. Put on any song and play nothing but lead throughout the whole thing, but try to make it sound mandolin-y. Okay? That will require certain things. Again, if you're in A, what had we went through? So like the okay, so let's say you're in, oh, there's your A string. All those little licks. And we did our little hammer-offs, pull-offs, all that other stuff that we did earlier. Toss those things in as much as you can in D. And we had our little licks. What we have? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, that was the one. And okay. Okay. And going to do Soul Man on here, but practice all those different licks in every key, because just like guitar, you have to familiarize yourself with the entire new instrument, and it is different. Like I said, we're just doing nothing but reprogramming our brain to play backwards. And I'm still trying to get it myself, but I figured I had enough of it by request to go ahead and get us started on the mandolin journey here. Okay, so like I said, as I grow and I grow comfortable enough to put out another version, I will do so. Of course, I'll do the beginner one for all the beginners out there that have never touched an instrument before. But I wanted to get this out before Christmas of 2024. Hope I'm still alive by then. No, I don't, because that's when I have to sell all my guitars. I promised myself I would by when I hit 60 in 2024. So look for the big guitar sale. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Yep, that means we're getting ready to head out. Okay, so Scott Grove here again. Yes, it's like 3, 4 in the morning, something like that. I don't know what it is, but things like this, yeah. The little missus, she can sleep, and I can teach quiet instruments like this late at night, so that's cool. I stay up till 5 in the morning anyway, and that's why I look like this. It's my Neil Young look. Dude, I'm still trying to cultivate the Neil Young thing. I gotta get the little strap around harmonica thing, and hey, my, do all that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the first lesson. I know it's been a long time coming. I honestly have like probably 200 lessons on my plate that people have asked me to do. Probably 40 of them I'll actually do. Why? Because some of them, they're not gonna make it, kids. I wish they would all work, but some of these Swedish bands and so forth, they're cool, and thanks for turning me on to them. The Swedish Bikini Team. Now that one we can do. I don't know what we'll do about it, but I'll teach you how to do something if I can film it. But if you have a serious request, and if I think it's actually marketable and people would actually buy it, yeah, we'll toss it out there. I have to make a living, so I would love to do each and every one of your requests, but I honestly can't do them all. And there's more on my plate than I can ever do. I do answer probably 300 to 400 emails per day. Plus, I still do every bit of my mailing, packaging, burning every day for everything, and I answer each and every what would you call it? Your YouTube, when people write to me on there. I try to get to those every day if humanly possible. Sometimes I have to do things every other day, but that leaves me with no time to make videos for the most part at this point, because I have that much mail and that many people asking me things and doing guitar reviews and so forth, and I'm still gigging, doing DJ stuff. So anyway, there's my life. I know you didn't ask. But mandolin, it's cool, and like I said, I never played this puppy before somebody asked me to do the lessons on it. So thanks for asking me to do them, and I hope you got a clue of how to start to play the mandolin. And the best thing you can do, which I can't really do on here because of copyright junk, is to be playing somebody's songs on here. I'm lucky I get away with it on some of my artist videos, just until they catch me, I guess. But just grab your favorite songs. You already know how to play guitar. You know how to play songs already, which is why I'm not teaching you Mary Had a Little Lamb songs and Down by the Riverside, and I'm not teaching you nothing on here. And as you can tell, I'm teaching you how to convert your brain over to an upside down instrument. The rest you should be able to get on your own. Like I said, if there's a need for a second one, I'll continue to practice this thing. If anybody, I'll see what the feedback is on it, and if I need to learn more in order to teach you more. Okay? So, hope you had a good time. I did, and like I said, I got to learn something different. And what is cool about this is if you learn how to play this, then you take the frets off of it. This is exactly like a violin or a fiddle. I'll call it a fiddle. I'm a country boy. So, if you can learn to stroke a bow and learn to do it without frets, okay, this and a fiddle are tuned identical. Okay, so does that let you know that, yeah, I got the fiddle. Let me see my magic filming powers here. I just don't want to get up and grab the dang thing. I know it's right next to that Kramer guitar, so there it is, by gummit. Just waiting on us to work on it. Where's my focus? There's my fiddle, all electrified and ready to roll. So it's here. It's queer, get used to it. I don't know. Can I say that on TV? I'm not on TV. I'm on somebody's TV, I guess. Anyway, this is me rattling. You're like, duh, shut up. Okay, so I'm trying to say bye. Go practice. I'll go practice, and if you need me, I'll make another video. Okay? So again, please start off the way I showed you, just nice and slow with the rhythms, and do all of those different 4 or 5 different little riffs I showed you in every key, and then all your guitar riffs will come to you, and then you'll realize how to make them sound more like this. Listen to some music with some mandolin in it. Okay, grab some bluegrass stuff, go on YouTube, just type in mandolin and listen to somebody play. It's the best way to get phrasings and all that stuff. Am I a mandolin player? No, but I'm teaching you, huh? Okay, so I'm not claiming to be a mandolin player. I'm going to be a mandolin teacher for guitar players. So that's the whole plan. This is what you get. And for a couple bucks, I hope it was worth it for you. Okay, so once again, Scott Grove, hasta la pasta, and hopefully I get to learn some more, so you all can learn some more. Maybe some of you guys can put out a video and teach me something to teach everybody else. That'd be kind of cool. Okay, so thanks for checking out part 1 of 1 so far. Okay, bye-bye.